If you'll go ahead and title your paper Area of Triangles and Parallelograms, and this is 7G6. Okay, the next title is going to be Area of a Parallelogram, and the formula is area equals base times height. So we can write it as A equals base times height. And if you look at the parallelogram, if I was to straighten it out, it's going to end up being a rectangle. And anytime you find the area of a rectangle, you just say length times width. So it's basically you're doing the same thing. So all we're going to do is do 11. So it would be area equals the base is going to be the 16. So it would be 16 times the area, which is 11. And you're just going to work it out. 16 times 11, 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1, and then it's going to be 176 inches, and area is always squared. The only reminder is, does it matter which one I multiply first, the 16 or the 11, and the answer is no. Okay, on the next example, again, you're doing area equals base times height. And your base is obviously going to be the 6. So area equals 6. And the height is has to be a straight line from the top point straight down. All right, it's not this point here. This is not the height. It's got to be straight with a right angle. Notice that you have a right triangle here, and that's how you know what the which one is the height. If you see a number next to right here, that is not the answer. You don't want to use that as the height. So our height is going to be 9. All right, and then all you're going to do is ask yourself, what is 6 times 9? And we know that 6 times 9 is 54. So the area equals 54 inches squared. Okay, now let's move on to area of a triangle. So if you'll please write area of a triangle. And on this one, the formula for area of a triangle is area equals base times height divided by 2, or you'll also see it as area equals 1/2 base times height, and it's the exact same thing. I just like to use this one here, this first one, because whenever you see fractions, you tend to say, oh, I don't know how to do it, whereas remember, anytime that you're multiplying something by a half, it's the same thing as dividing by 2. So this just looks easier to the eye. It's more pleasing. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to do area equals, and my base again is down here at the 10. My height is the 3, so 10 times 3. And then you're going to divide it by 2. And a lot of people want to know where this formula comes from. If you think about it, whenever if I was to put the other side of this triangle here, it would end up being a rectangle. And anytime you're trying to find the area of a rectangle, you would do the base times the height or length times the width. Well, you have half of a rectangle when you have a triangle, so that's why you divide it by 1/2. So it ends up being base times height, and then divided by 2, because you only have half of the rectangle there. So now we're going to go ahead and finish this off. So 3 times 10 is going to give me 30, and 30 divided by 2 gives you an area of 15 centimeters square. All right, again, the formula is area equals base times height divided by 2. All right, and this one is a little different. You work it out the same way, but the base is going to obviously be the 10. So area equals 10. And notice that the sides, that is not the height. The height has to be a straight line from the top to the base. And you will normally have a right triangle or right angle, excuse me, right here, showing you that that is a straight line from the top to the bottom. If you have numbers on the sides here, that is not your height. Your height has to be from the tip straight down. So this 8 is going to be your height. So let's go ahead and do 10 times 8. And then again, remember, we're going to divide it by 2. 10 times 8 gives you 80. And then divide 80 by 2, which is going to give you an area of 40. And that's centimeters squared. Okay, the last one again, area equals base times height divided by 2. And notice that our triangle here, this is our triangle. And my base is going to be the 5. And we're going to multiply that by the 12 because remember, we've got to go from the tip top point straight down. And here is our right angle again. So it's going to be 5 times 12. And then you're going to divide it by 2. So the area of this triangle is 5 times 12 divided by 2. 5 times 12 we know is 60. And 60 divided by 2 is going to give us an area of 30 centimeters squared.